John, do you expect Tony D'Angelo back? Is he with you guys?
No.
No. How's Zach McEwen doing?
Not sure.
Okay. And
So is Zach a game time decision or?
That'll be, yeah, it'll be game time or after the pregame skate. We'll find out more after he skates at 11:30.
With regards to Tony, do you have any idea when he might rejoin the team? I assume when you guys get home or?
No, Tony and I talked last night, and it was more or less about his family situation, not about when he comes back. So, still not sure on that.
Just to clarify on that, the first game he missed was a healthy scratch, and then the family situation came up. Just to make sure I have the timing right.
No, he wasn't going to play the second game, but during that time when he was working out that morning, where were we? We Phoenix?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He had just finished his workout with the guys that skated that day, and that's when he found out about his family situation. Yeah.
Carter Harding net Tony.
Carter's in that.
Okay.
Yes.
So looking back at Sandstrom, how do you feel like he performed, and how do you keep a guy game ready when he had sat so many?
He was okay. And as far as game ready, that's what Dilly does. That's the life of a backup. Is just that. And I think I have a really good coach that keeps him ready.
With how much do you guys need offense, John? Do you feel like Joel Farabee's pressing a little bit in terms of just trying to do too much? Have you noticed anything different in his game?
He had some good shifts the last game. I think he's been very inconsistent. I do, and he's not going to, well, I'm not going to let him hide behind his injury. I think it's plenty of time to get through that. I just think he's been inconsistent. Yeah, and I think he's a really good player. I've seen him be a really good player. For a few shifts the other night, he looked really, that's why we had him on the ice with the goalie pulled, because we really felt that at certain times in that game he was playing well. We just need to get some consistency out of him.
You mentioned that you feel like you don't want to pin it on the injury, but what do you feel like is at the root of that inconsistency?
That's a tough one to answer. I don't have an answer. You'll have to ask him. It's all sorts of reasons, concentration, I don't know, but it's his job to be consistent. And he's a very important guy for us as far as if you're talking about offense and having some continuity through the lines. You can see it sometimes, you can't. But I don't have an answer for you as why he isn't.
You talked about putting James with guys who are inexperienced to provide that learning experience. When it comes to Joel, I guess how do you try to match him up with different people on lines to try to pull out that consistency, or
Joel?
Yeah, what you know he can do.
Sometimes it's not just me trying to pull it out of him. It needs to be him. When I put lines together, depending on during the game or within the game itself, you try to find something that matches. Sometimes you stumble upon it, but I'm not spending my waking hours trying to figure out something to help Joel Farabee. Joel has to help himself. So it's a little bit of both, I guess, is the way I'm answering it.
With regards to Cam York, when he was sent out at the end of camp, you said that you needed to see him be more assertive. You wanted to see him control the play more. Has he, I guess, met your expectations in that regard?
Yeah, and not just the things you really see, like up the ice, joining the play. I think he's really done a great job escaping and getting us out of our end zone. But the thing I like about his game, and no one talks about it, is I think he's been good around our net defensively too. I think he's tried to be physical, boxing people out, closing people out in the corners. He's answered the question I had for him when we sent him down. When are you going to try to make a difference? And I think he's trying to show us that. And I think in the short minutes that he's played, or the few games he's played, I think he's done a really good job.
I know it's still an unknown, obviously, with regards to when Tony's going to be back. That depends on the family situation. But is Cam here kind of not to replace Tony long-term, but like, is he in for Tony? When Tony's back, Cam will go back down, or is he going to stay, you think?
No. Right now, Cam, as far as I'm concerned, the way he's played, he's here. And that could change in a week, you know. And I really do believe that that minor league, when he went down there and played a ton of minutes, and I think Lappy and his staff has done such a terrific job with him, it worked. That's what the minor league's about. I think everybody got up in a little bit of dander because we're sending Yorkie down there. We don't like him or whatever it may be. It was the right thing for him at that time. And I think I've really, it just shows me so much I just respect that league so much as far as what it can do for a player to get to be a pro, and I think it's working for Yorkie. Is he done there? I don't know. But for right now, I like what he's done here in the National Hockey League.
Kind of as a follow-up on that, to bring up Cam, you guys sent down Igor. Are you, when you're looking at kind of this decor, we talked about the concept of like you're trying to develop, you're also trying to win because you owe it to these guys. Would you, like, you look at it as you would only want to have one of those young guys up at once and focus all your attention on them, or
Nope.
would you have both up at the same
No,
time?
it could be both. You know, it could be both. I also have to understand where we are with the team right now in the standings and all that stuff. Where do you shift it to total developing people, which I'm not at now, but it has to be in your back of your mind when you're trying to, and I've said it from the get-go, we're going to have pain, and we are in pain. We're going to have more. But does that stop you from what your goal is? And the biggest goal for me is to get the process going in the right direction as far as developing a foundation of this team. So I guess in a long-winded answer to your question is, it would not bother me at all to have two young guys here. It just depends, you know. I just don't want to take a guy out if he's playing really well just to, okay, we're going all development. That's not what I'm saying. But if it's in between and we're kind of on level ground with a guy that maybe we forecast isn't going to be long-term in the organization, you're damn right we want the kids. So I hope that answers your question.
Beyond just York's individual development, how are you hoping that he helps like the back end develop and maybe pushes some of these other guys?
Who?
York.
Well, I'm not looking for Yorkie to push anybody. I'm looking for Yorkie to be selfish and worry about his game and continue to work at his game. One of the biggest strengths that you can see is I think he can get us out of our end zone really quickly. That's going to help our offense. So to put responsibility on Cam pushing other people, I don't look at it that way. I just want him to continue to try to make a difference in his game. You know, people think selfish is a bad word, calling a player selfish. You want to be a really good player in the National Hockey League, you have to have some selfishness. That's what he just has to worry about himself and what he has to do as a player to stick here.
In your experience developing young defensemen, how do you get them not just to have a couple good games, but to achieve that sense of consistency?
Yeah, and I think that'll happen when how he answers when he has a tough game. I think those are signs we look for as a coaching staff when there's some major struggles of the game. How does he bounce back the next game? How does he bounce back with some coaching? Different type of coaching, maybe in different situations. How does he handle that? The biggest thing with Cam is I don't want him worrying about mistakes. I want him to have the right mindset. That's what bothers me the most, is I just watch him through camp and just kind of get through camp. I want him to have a mindset of making a difference, and I think that's what he's brought here, and that's what he has to stay on top of. Mistakes are going to be made. I just want him to, if he makes a mistake, I want him to go right back out there and try to make a difference, not hide in the weeds.